My name is Tatiana Calvo, and I'll be presenting why children under 15 years old shouldn't have a Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg founded Facebook when he was only 23 years old, and he was studying psychology at Harvard University. He developed numerous of social networking such as CourseMatch and FaceMash. In February 2004, Mr. Zuckerberg launched the Facebook, which was later transformed into Facebook. Within 24 hours, 1,200 Harvard students had signed up, and 1 month later, half of the undergraduate population had a Facebook profile. Now, worldwide, 5.6 million users use Facebook for a year, and 3.5% of U.S. population are children under the age of 13, which the company clearly state that they don't want children on their Facebook, which they are banned and they were kicked off. And about Facebook, they kicked off 800,000 kids in a year. One of the tragic stories I want to discuss is a 15-year-old girl named Nicole Cable. Police stated that her death was lured into by a man who was using a phony Facebook profile, which she died from suffocation. It was clearly stated that the victim's murderer, Kyle Du, who was a 20-year-old man, told his brother that he would abduct Nicole while wearing a ski mask, and he would wait for her in the woods. But it was later that he just put her in the back of the pickup truck, and she was later pronounced dead. One of the reasons I want to discuss about Facebook is the consequences of what minors under 15 would be prone to have, such as identity theft, online stalking, harassment, and cyberbullying. Identity theft includes more than 3 types of incidents, such as unauthorized use or attempted use of an existing account, unauthorized use or attempted use of personal information to open a new account, or misuse of personal information for a fraudulent purpose. Reports have been examining identity theft victimization at household levels, and they collected data, and they had most of these reports range from 12 years old to about 70 years old. The next thing I want to discuss is cyber stalking and harassment. Cyber stalking is when it's mostly used for sexual predators, obsessive stalkers, murderers, rapists, etc., etc. These abusive online behavior can include checking somebody's email or tracking their internet use, posting embarrassing, fake, or intimate videos, photos, or comments about that person, constantly messaging, emailing, or texting that person in a way that makes them feel scared or uncomfortable, and harassing them on social networks such as Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or chat sites. A 12-year-old Washington girl was sentenced to probation and community service for cyber stalking another classmate, which she hacked into her Facebook account. The incident occurred around March 18, and between the hours of 11 a.m. through 5:30 p.m., Coates' mother noticed that her Facebook was hacked into by those 2 classmates and a former friend. The post that they did was a photo of the victim, which was drawn from horns in her head and knife and blood aimed at her head. There have been explicit names written across the bottom, and images of condoms hanging on a clothes wire along with the photo. The girls then sent out messages to random people on the hacked girls' Facebook accounts, asking them for sexual favors or posting sexually explicit comments on other users' walls. Cyberbullying. Cyberbullying and cyberstalking is a bit different, but cyberbullying is more serious than cyberstalking. Cyberbullying is defined as a young person tormenting, threatening, harassing, or embarrassing another young person using the internet or cell phones. There have been psychological and emotional outcomes from bullying. According to DoSomething.org, 68% of teens agree that cyberbullying is a serious problem. Girls are about twice as likely as boys to be victims and perpetrators of cyberbullying. Bullying victims are 2 to 9 times more likely to consider committing suicide. Cyberbullying is more likely to have an emotional and psychological problem. It can lead to anxiety, low self-esteem, which those two can lead to depression, and depression leads to suicide thoughts, and suicide thoughts which leads to taking their own life. One of the personal stories I want to discuss is the suicide of Jamie Rodimer. Jamie Rodimer openly admitted that he was homosexual, and he absolutely adored Lady Gaga. But because of this, it mostly aimed him from being bullied online. There have been anonymously posted comments that would say, "I wouldn't care if you died. No one would. Just do it. It would make everyone way more happier. Or just won't care. Or it would be a better place without you." Despite this, he started making YouTube videos to help others who are experiencing this similar situation. But sadly, he took out his own life by hanging himself on September 18, 2011. Children under 15 are not as likely to be more mature than a person who is 16 years old or older. They are more experienced. They're more drawn into identity theft, talking to people on Facebook, more likely not to grow up in a certain way because they're more likely to want to meet that person in a private place, more likely to have more missing children or murderers if they are under 15. I believe that Facebook users should be set for a legal age of 16 or older, because at 16, for mostly around the world, 16 is a legal age that you can drive, drink, be more mature than somebody who is 13 years old. And that is the end of my speech, and thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.